Okay, uh, hello and welcome to a new vlog where we are going to discuss properties from Dubai and property from Miami. So I have with me lovely Isha Desai. So she will discuss how you guys can buy properties in Miami, what type of properties in the Miami, and I'm here. I will discuss about only Dubai. So that's what. Okay, welcome Isha. How are you today?
Very good, Amit. Thanks for having me.
All right. So tell me about your background. How long you doing the real estate, and what motivates you into the real estate?
Sure. So, just to start from the beginning, I'm Indian by origin. I was born in Bombay. And then I moved to New York as a child and grew up in New York, went to high school, college, and everything else in New York. And at one point in my life, I did immigrate back to India, lived in Bombay and worked in Southeast Asia, traveled to Dubai several times. So I did that for about 8 years. So I'm very familiar with the Southeast Asia or that part of the world. And of course, this part of the world, which gives me a really good perspective. I used to be a management consultant. And about 5 years ago, I became a real estate agent in Miami because I moved from New York and now I live in Miami Beach. I think
Okay.
we have some background, so I'm going to just move my phone.
Okay. So it's almost like 5 years you are doing the real estate in Miami.
Correct.
So how can like anyone? Because yesterday I was talking to someone. I'm going to have a broadcast with the real estate agent in Miami, and he was asking, okay, just ask her how can we join in the Miami as well? What do you need any qualifications, or you need any degrees, or what?
Yeah, no, so I mean, from a basic requirement perspective, you have to take a, a course and then an exam. So there is a board, like a licensing department in Florida that sort of governs Florida real estate, and this is true for any state in the U.S. So you have to become board certified or like certified by the or licensed by the state, and then once you're licensed by the state, you can join pretty much any brokerage that you like because you're an independent consultant with a brokerage. So I'm with Compass Florida, which is a relatively young brokerage, but very tech forward, very innovative. And so I really like the team. And it functions as a national brokerage. So I can talk to anybody, anywhere, help clients buy and sell places pretty much anywhere in the US, as well as with our international partners around the world. So the basic requirement, as I said, is you have to pass the test. And then the learning the business and learning the market and all of that, that just happens through experience, or you work with a team or something like that to get started.
Okay. So basically, I'm big fan of one of the top agent in USA is Ryan Serhant. I hope you know
Yeah.
that as well, and the
Yes.
other agent knows as well. So I'm watching his each and every video, each and every series as well, and what kind of motivational real estate speaker he is.
Right.
So okay, so you are doing it from 5 year, and what kind of properties you deal mostly like
Yeah. So mostly I do residential condos, condominiums, and single family homes in the Miami area. So Miami Beach. And Miami has many like neighborhoods. So, some of the neighborhoods people may know are like Brickell, downtown, Edgewater. So basically, it would be the greater Miami area that I work in. I have done some, I go north up to Fort Lauderdale. So some places like Sunny Isle and Fort Lauderdale are still part of my remit, and south up to Coconut Grove. And that
okay
may not mean
like
much, but
okay,
yeah.
like in Dubai, we have two type of properties. Okay, like one properties, people from US, Europe, and everybody come and they pay full amount and they stay there or they live there and they put it on the rental as if they want to do investment. So the other type of the properties we have in Dubai are we called it a primary market, primary like a newly developed project, under construction project. So in the Miami, we have the option as well to buying apartment from the new developer, or is already developed, or what?
No, in fact, Miami right now has probably, or like the greater Miami area, probably has over 100 new development projects going on. And, I
Wow.
can talk to you about that. So here, the market is segmented into either a residential property, and that's a property with under 4 units, and then commercial. So I do a little bit of commercial being like, let's say multifamily or industrial warehouses and things like that. But most of my clients are residential. So when they're buying a residential property, it could be, and actually in this area, there are a lot of people who buy it as a second home or a third home or something like that. So they're here from anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And then the rest of the time, they may or may not rent it. There's also an option to buy properties here that are purely investment, right? Like, so we can buy what are called condo hotels here, and it's essentially like owning a hotel room. So you can use it whenever you want to use it, but then you can also rent it out on a daily basis. So depending on the interest of the person buying, whether it's for personal use, whether it's a mix like personal use and they want to rent it, or purely investment, whether it's long term or short term, we can suggest, or I can suggest which property would be best, both from an existing, inventory perspective, but as well as from the new developments that are coming. And, there are so many great new developments that are being built in Miami. I mean, I can go on about Miami because even, I mean, I'm sure you've heard all the buzz about Miami. Miami's like the new New York. It is certainly the international financial hub. If New York is number one, this is the second, and the access and the ports. I mean, I can go on. But the other thing that Miami really offers is a lifestyle. So whether you want to buy something for personal use for a short term, but then rent it out so that you can generate income or at least cover your carrying costs, the lifestyle here is akin to what you would have in Dubai, and but on this part of the world, right? And then the access to obviously all parts of the US, but Latin America, even Europe is tremendous, and Canada, they're, like, this is a business hub, and it really is trying to become more and more. So many more like private equity firms, hedge funds, lawyers, tech companies, crypto, Bitcoin. Everyone is sort of attracted to Miami because I have to say that, I've traveled quite a bit around the world, and I don't know of one place, maybe Dubai comes close, or I would say put it in that bucket, where you can be on a beach one day or in the morning, and in the evening you're at a fine dining restaurant, you're have a great nightlife, kind of that combination of everything that you would ever want. It exists in Miami. Like, you can have arts and culture, you can have, whatever it is that your heart desires.
Okay, as you told me, like you traveled to Dubai as well, and how you have seen the lifestyle in Dubai. I know many of my own client, like they're from Dubai or they're from like Saudi Arabia. They are buying properties in Miami now. So and they only want a luxury lifestyle. Like they travel a lot. Sometime when they have a hot season here, they have to move somewhere for a couple of months.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's what they are doing. So how you can compare the lifestyle in Dubai compared to Miami? First, we will go. Okay, you can see the nightlife. Nightlife in Dubai is as well there as well. Okay, and how you compare the living in Dubai and in Miami?
So honestly, I will say it's very, very comparable. And you know, in terms of nightlife, let me tell you, like, there's nightlife that is right on the beach. So we have a number of hotels that have clubs and, fine dining. Like, there's literally everything that you would want. And then there's the Miami, which is more of a city feeling, which feels more like a New York, like Brickell downtown. There's nightlife there. There's Fort Lauderdale. And really, it's all genres too. So it's not like, quote, one type. So if you tell me you like this kind of music and you want this type of environment or this vibe, I can pretty much tell you, what are the places that you can go. But pretty much everywhere, all of this is available. So, I mean, again, there is a ranking that somebody does. Miami's lifestyle is number one. Now the funny thing is, it's the number two city that where people from around the world want to move, and Dubai is number one. So no, Miami and Dubai honestly are very, very comparable. Like if you come here, or as you say, your clients come here, they will feel right at home. Now Miami does have diversity, right? Like there are people from all over, all over the world here. In different parts you'll see more, more of a certain group, because that's how it happens. People get attracted to a certain group. But when you say this luxury lifestyle, and that's what's, I mean, the first thing I'll tell you, in the last 3 or 4 years, the wealth migration to Miami is tremendous. Like from people from California and Chicago, and New York always came, but who never moved to Miami are now here. You know that Jeff Bezos has like, that it has
Yeah.
moved here. I mean, you can name, the big sort of anybody, like Citadel is setting up a office. They're building an 86-story tower. So the commitment to Miami from these big sort of players in the business world is tremendous. And while from a lifestyle perspective and a luxury lifestyle perspective, the new buildings, as well as some of the existing properties, they're being built with the perspective that everything will be in that property. So, the property will have like the best uh, wellness facilities, gym, spa, etc., pool. They'll have restaurants. Many of them have Michelin star chefs who will run the restaurants. I mean, pretty much a dog grooming, like everything that you would really want. So you would never have to leave the place. And then we have places like the Bentley residences where they will have a minimum 3-car garage at your unit level. So it's a 65-story tower, and at your unit level, you can park 3 or 4 cars. So it's super privacy and exclusivity, which is what everybody wants. That's what Miami luxury lifestyle offers.
Okay, that will remind me one of the project here. Its developer is a Bengati, and they are doing a project with the Bugatti. So, and they are developing here. You can park your Bugatti in your penthouse.
Yeah,
So that's not
that's
almost like
yeah,
same
that's
thing that they're
amazing. So Bentley, you can park your car at each level, not only just the penthouse. Penthouse will have like
good.
7 car parking, like a unit at a lower level, minimum 3 cars, which is
Uh,
amazing. But we also have Aston Martin building that's already been built, but it recently got released this year, like a few months ago. We have Pagani coming, we have Mercedes Benz, like so. This branded residences. We also have Waldorf Astoria and St. Regis and Four Seasons, and name it, Raleigh Shore Club, like these sort of branded residences where people have a certain expectation of service and concierge level service. That's what's being brought, and it's being combined with your residence, which is the amazing part.
True, true. So basically, this branded concept is now in all over the world. In
Yes.
Dubai, like, I know the Jacob and Co is there,
Yes.
Bugatti's, Mercedes is there,
Yeah.
and Pugani they already have the building there as well.
Right.
So all the branded, even the cars and the branded watches, and I know there is some designer from like Italy, from France. They are like just working with the developer and designing a building or these kind of things. So
Absolutely. And it is really about customer loyalty, right? Like the way they're doing it is smart. It's customer loyalty. Like if you already have a certain expectation of from a certain brand, that's what they're delivering. But now it's in your residence. They're capturing kind of the mind space of customers, and it works, right? Some people are really a fan of Four Seasons, and some people love St. Regis, and the two don't necessarily connect. So this serves everybody, but they all get kind of this very exclusive, highly sort of personalized living experience.
okay, now let's move like here. I'm sitting in the downtown. You can see the buildings here.
Yeah,
So we have apartment buildings here. Then if we move near to the coastline, we have a farm there as well. People have a beach houses and all the villas there on the beach. Then we have a properties in Emirate Hills, Dubai Hills, where all the billionaires live, and mostly are Indians. Indians are number one
yeah,
nowadays in Dubai, and from last many years, they are on the number one investors here in
yeah.
Dubai. And I know even some of the private island I was showing to my client, and at the end I found out the owner of that island is Indian as well. So they're investing a lot of money here. So here we have apartments, we have penthouses, we have villas, we have townhouses, we have like a kind of a jungle houses where you can see the greenery. We have houses on the sea as well. So what type of properties we can find in Miami?
So I would say the same. Like we have condos, we have many condos at all price ranges, and many of them with unobstructed water views. So you can have the bay view or ocean view. I mean, the waterfront living in Miami, again, comparable to Dubai, but like tremendous, better than anywhere else in the US. And that much I can say. Like even Newport Beach or California, like you can't live on the ocean or live on the bay, and really have like these expansive views. That I would say is amazing about here. So we do have the same sort of thing. We have like these very exclusive islands like Indian Creek, where it's the millionaire homes or billionaire homes with waterfront where you park your boat or any kind of water vehicles that you have like jet skis and things like that. So we have homes that offer that. We have homes in Coral Gables, which is very beautiful and pretty. Coconut Grove, beautiful, pretty trees, brand new homes built. There are peacocks running around in the street. So very kind of residential, urban feel. We have penthouse condos. We have, I mean, literally, it's the same. It's just that it's in the U.S. and not in Dubai. And this is why I say, like, in terms of the hubs, right? Like, when you think about people who are at this level, when are traveling so much, it makes so much sense to have a hub in Dubai. So you have like the Asian corridor covered, and it makes
Yeah.
sense to be established in Miami because there's a lot of investment that even the business, like the government, is making to attract businesses and to support them and to grow them. And it gives you access, like I said, to Latin America, South America, as well as, US and Canada.
Okay, now let's talk about pricing.
Yeah.
Okay, like here, if you see people, the investors started from the studio apartment, then one bedroom, two bedroom, and the villas. So, what will be the minimum price to buy a property there? And maximum, obviously, we know it's
Well,
gold.
the sky's the limit. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So if someone is coming and you want to buy a reasonable studio or one bedroom with a good view, and like because he gonna live here for a month or two, then after that he gonna put it on Airbnb, and it's just for the investment purpose.
Yeah.
So how is the value there?
So I think the base value, like especially if you want a nice building with a view, then
Yeah.
then you're going to start at a studio probably around 450,000 US dollars. Then you can rise up from there. And if you want more amenities, more of this luxury lifestyle,
Yeah.
then the prices will
More
be
amenities. Okay. I want a brand new apartment
right.
with branded ones and with the sea view and where I can see the weather and higher floor, obviously.
Yeah.
So how
So
much
it'll
that
start
gonna
at like 450, 400, 450. If you want the top floor, it may get up to 600 for a studio or one bedroom, but that is possible. And then some of the ones that I'm thinking are also possible so that you can use it like as a hotel room. So rent it out on a daily basis. You don't have to
yeah.
rent it for a longer term. So then you can truly use it whenever you want and then
Mm.
rent it. So I would say that would be the base or entry point.
Yeah, that concept is already like in even in Dubai as well. You can buy a hotel apartment and you can come and live here for like almost 1 month, and rest of the 11th month you can put it on the rent and hotel
On the
management
rent.
will do.
Yeah.
So the same thing there as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, when anyone is coming to buy a property here in Dubai, he has to pay only 4% is called a Dubai Land Department fee. If he's going to buy a property for $500,000, even 10 million, 20 million, whatever price is going to buy, he only here is paying a 4% Dubai Land Department fee. So, house in Miami.
So here what we call are the closing costs. And so there's the price of the property, and then there's closing costs, which is based on the purchase price of the property. And so that's probably similar to what you're calling the development fee. The closing costs include title search. They include recording fees, like, and stamping fees and things like that, to get the deed in your name and all of that sort of paperwork, and
Yeah.
also lawyer fees.
Mhm.
My estimate will be it's 2% approximately. It can vary, it can be a little bit lower, but max, I would say it's 2% of the purchase price. That's your closing fee.
Okay. So is 2% is the buyer is paying, or
Yes.
who's
Yeah. The seller pays their own. The seller pays their own kind of closing fees that are similar, and the buyer pays as well. Buyer pays for title
okay.
insurance and closing costs, and that comes out to be about 2%.
Okay, so seller is also paying and buyer is also paying. Is almost two
Correct.
percent each, or
2% each for both sides, approximately. It slightly depends, but like we can go with that as a rough estimate.
okay. Now we come across on the rental. So if I'm like giving this apartment to a holiday homes or a hotel apartment, or on a short term rental, let's talk about the short term rental first. So what is the ROI he will get from a fixed ROI? Because I know some hotels here, even in Dubai, they will give you the fixed ROI. And if you are working with the Airbnb, so it is depend on the occupation, like it's occupied for like a 90%, 100%, whatever it's occupied, they will pay you. So
Yeah.
what is the roughly ROI they will get in Miami?
Yeah, so here there's no fixed ROI. No one will commit to X percentage unless you sell it into a pool. So that's a different sort of thing where you buy something and then you don't even kind of, you're not really even in you might sell it to a property manager who manages it and gives you a fixed ROI. So that may be possible, but in reality, what it is, it's generally based on the actual sort of usage and occupancy. And here we do have some high months. So our high months are from November to April. That's when you're going to have the greatest occupancy. And in the summer, it slows down to about 70% or something like that, just because the weather is not so good.
Yeah.
And so it may depend month to month, but across, like on an average over the year, you can be anywhere from like, 4% at the low end. Because, you do, and this is like after you've covered all your expenses, like the maintenance fees and and also the property management fees that you may have to pay. So, and 4% on the low end to about maybe 6 or 7. So the reason, the value really is, okay, so that you may say that that's not so quote great, because there are, like, if you purely want to buy something for investment, you can just buy like a multifamily unit and do long-term rental, and that may actually give you a better return. But then they're not quote nice properties with the water view and the luxury amenities, right? They're out a little bit further away, and where you're renting it on a long-term basis. So for these, 427, um, the value is also in the potential for appreciation, right? Over
Okay.
time, the value is going to go up of the property.
Okay. 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 No, normal even here in Dubai as well, because now it's October, and now is the weather is very good as well till like October, November, December, January, February, March is good weather. So occupancy is
Yeah,
almost 100%. So after that we have a summer. So even if we calculate as well, even in a downtown nowadays, it's not more than 5% people will get.
yeah,
But yeah, sometimes in the beach houses and the sea view apartments, okay, they will get the higher ROI on the short-term rental as well, and
right,
even on the long-term rental as well.
right.
Okay, here is one other thing. On the rental, there is no tax. So that's why people buy a property in Dubai. They said like whatever rental income is coming, it's coming in their pocket. So what's in the Miami?
In Miami, short-term rental is taxed. And that's covered in these expenses that I mentioned. So there is a tax for short-term rental, and generally what people do is charge it to the people renting it. So let's say you were renting my studio for one night. In my price, I'm charging you that tax and I'm recovering that. So generally that's what you're doing, but there is a tax that the owner is responsible for. Short-term being anything less than 6 months. Over 6 month rental, there is no tax.
Okay, if like there is any income tax as well, because that rental is basically his income. So you have
Well,
to pay
so
the
yes, so it would be considered as part of income tax, but Florida doesn't have income tax. So you would be
oh,
considered as part of your federal income tax. In the US, there's federal and then there's the state. You don't have any state income tax for any income you generate here um, in Florida. That's part of the reason also a lot of people come here, because if you establish residency in Florida, then you don't pay income tax in the state. But then you still have to pay the federal income tax as far as your income is concerned. But remember, you also get to deduct all of the expenses. So depending on your situation, this could be a benefit because here you have a property with all these expenses, right? Like the monthly maintenance, the property tax, and things like that. You can expense that on your income tax potentially. So I'm saying that that all depends on your situation and all of that. So we would have to talk to a CPA, but there is a possibility to be able to do that.
okay. Now, the most important thing, the appreciation of the property. Like, I can understand like every area have a different kind of appreciation. Like
Yeah.
even in Dubai, sometime they will get like more than 10% every year. So that's amazing because Dubai have a limited coastline.
Yeah.
So I remember like villas 10 years ago, like if there are 10 million or 12 million, nowadays you hardly find anything like less than 50 million. So how's the capital appreciation in Miami?
Yeah. And so Miami also has a limited coastline, right? And what we have now is some of the older buildings being redeveloped, which means they're being torn down and new buildings are coming up at the higher price points. Um, but if you see, right after COVID, Miami's market actually escalated quite a bit. And
Yeah. So,
actually, it increased in appreciation like up to like 30% or higher in some areas, right? So really, really strong appreciation. But if you put that in the perspective from the long range, for a while there was no appreciation between 2012 and 2019. It was slow, but it's really after COVID that it went up. So these are things that you can't control, right? Like part of it had to do with the fact that now everybody could work from home, so they came here, and all of a sudden the secret of Miami was out, and things like that. Um, on an average, again, you can't really tell or commit what an appreciation could be. But what I can tell you, the story of Miami right now is very strong. There are obviously existing properties, and there are some new properties coming with excellent views. In 10 years, do I expect that to be uh, appreciating? I do, because again, there's a limited pipeline. And when, think about just purely because of inflation, there would be an increase in price. And that's 3 or 4%. And then if something else happens, or if a lot of people are interested in Miami, which is what's projected and which is what's happening, then appreciation should be decent.
okay, the most important thing now, like I'm reading some people are talking about even Dubai, Miami, and some other big cities as well. Like there is a prices is all time high nowadays. Normally, I talk about Dubai because I know that in Dubai, when after the COVID, people gonna say, okay, prices will go down, but prices goes up. So rental is almost like from 1 year, now this year, rental is almost like 25% increase every year. And some areas, even I've seen a capital appreciation more than 30%. They just announced, okay, the new airport is going to build in this area, and people already had the properties. They just shoot up. So then they say after the Expo 2020, Dubai will prices goes down. Nothing happened. Price goes up again. Then you remember the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, and they said after the FIFA, prices go down, but prices goes up. So people are coming and they feel it's safe here, and they like they can walk all the time. So now we're talking about regarding what you think about the Miami properties prices is all-time high, or they still have a lot of potential?
I mean, so I will say it's the same sort of thing again, which is my belief is that the prices are are at a clip, but not going to go down. So at the least, they're not going to go down, right? So if you want to be here, if you find a reason or opportunity to be here, I don't think they're going down at
Yeah,
all levels, no matter what kind of
yeah,
property. They are selling at a high point, but believe it or not, people are buying, right? So when I talk about these new projects, they're being they're selling out. I mean, we have penthouses that are under contract in new buildings for the highest one I know about is 120 million for a penthouse. Someone is
Okay.
under contract for that because they want this, because it provides them the lifestyle and the exclusivity and the privacy or and whatever else it is that they're looking for. So do I think that they're going down? I don't think they're going down. The other thing is,
Oh,
as I mentioned, Citadel is building an 86-story tower and attracting a lot of traditional businesses like Google, Microsoft. Apple has just announced a headquarter in Coral Gables, which is in the Miami area. All these companies, the established companies that never had like a significant presence in Miami, are coming here. And with that comes a level of people with a certain, buying power and a certain price point. So what is happening is that there is a shift. There's a rotation in the type of people who are living in Miami and other people who are moving further north and things like that. So there is a wealth migration and there's a shift, but it doesn't mean that the prices are going down. And when you think about even like mortgage rates and stuff, because in the US people talk about mortgage rates a lot, it doesn't
yeah.
really again affect the market here because like for example, this year 60% of the sales in Miami-Dade County were cash.
Oh, okay.
So we have people also, because they come from different places, they buy cash, and they have the capacity to be able to do so. So this doesn't, you for prices to go down, there has to be push, right? There has to be like the inability for people to buy. Now there was a softness over the summer, but we always have a softness over the summer, and it's also an election year, and it doesn't mean that anything is going on, but people generally pull back a little bit just psychologically here when there is an election year. But next year, everything is projected to continue to rise and go up, actually. So,
Good.
and I don't see, like, honestly, by 26, 27, when Citadel will have the tower, when other things will happen in Miami, they're improving the transportation. We have the largest port. We've built a bright line that connects people, like just the number of people who are going to come here. So if you buy like a short-term rental, that it's supposed to do really, really well. And because there's a need, and it's not like we have enough hotel rooms to serve all the tourists who come in to this area. Um, so I don't see it going down, but I don't have a magic ball, but this is my perspective, and on a lot of other people's perspective who are in this market.
Because I even normally say to my investor as well, look, we cannot control the market, but if you're working with the right broker, he can guide you properly.
Exactly.
So now the question is about what do you think working with a right broker or a wrong broker can ruin the investor investment?
Well, so the truth is, so I'll tell you a couple of things. Truth is that there's a variety of options in Miami, and we have a lot of people who now everything is quote available on the net, and you can do your own research, and you can learn about the new buildings by yourself and things, and visit the sales gallery yourself and things like that. So yes, you can do it all yourself. But in my opinion, whether it's a existing property or a new development, people like me or a good broker can help you really make the right choice. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of options at the same price point. So once you tell me, okay, this is the parameter or this is your requirement, then I can tell you, here's the 5 options, here's the pros and cons of them. These are the developers, this is what other things that they've developed. If you go to a sales gallery, they're not going to do that. They're going to only talk about their project and they're going to sell you their project.
Obviously.
Unbiased people like me can give you a perspective on the market, guide you, and refer you. Well, the first thing is we can also help you negotiate a really good contract because generally a developer will give you a standard contract, and most people think you can't negotiate, but we know the areas that you should negotiate and what you can ask and not ask and things like that. We have legal support, like I have lawyers that I know who will help you in that as well. So that's one part. But once you even acquire the property, managing it, because some of these short terms you can manage it yourself. So I can refer you to good property managers who are going to take care of it, remove the hassle. So, it's really a long-term relationship. Like it's not just about quote the transaction, right? I want to understand what my clients want, what is it that they're driving out of, make sure that they get what they want and continue to get that, right? Like I'm not gone or disappear after that transaction. I have relationships with my clients that last,
Exactly.
they become friends, as you know, right? Like,
even like most of my client ask me the same question. Okay, if we like buying from you, we can go direct to the developer. I said, look, developer want to sell you the apartment that he want to sell, not what you looking for. So
Correct.
I will give you the best apartment on that building. So who gonna help you for the paperwork? So who gonna guide you when this project is going to be ready, when your next installment is due, and when the property is ready? Who gonna like do a rental for you, and who gonna resell it for you? Developer not gonna do it. Okay,
Right.
so this part is covered. Next, uh, yeah, like in Dubai, people come from all over the world. More than 100 nationalities are investing here, and they can bring come with any passport and they can buy a properties here and freehold properties on their own names. So how's in the Miami? Anyone can buy the property or no?
So there's several ways for foreign investors to buy. Again, we can do a proper consultation because every situation is different. But the couple of things that I will tell you is that there are a couple of programs. It's called EB2 and EB5. If you have an interest in getting a visa to live or establish a residency in the U.S. for yourself or your family, there are a couple of programs, and they have thresholds on what you can invest in. You can buy a property, you can buy a business as well that comes with the property. So there's options for people. And that's a great sort of vehicle if U.S. is of interest, or being in the U.S. is of interest for people. And generally, what happens is you establish the company. So we have legal support to help you establish the company, set up the tax structure, all of that very legally, and then purchase the property, and then like I said, help manage it. So that
Okay,
certainly
so
exists here.
investor have to come to Miami to buy a property, or he can buy a property while living there. Like in Dubai, he can live anywhere in the world.
You can live anywhere in the world and buy a property. We have people who even existing properties, they don't come see it. We do like a video, show them what the place is, tell them all about it, and they buy because they also kind of know a little bit. They've visited, or even if they don't know, we're able to tell them everything they need to know
Okay.
to be able to buy a property. But you don't have to be here.
Okay, okay. No, normally here Dubai, but offering nowadays as well. Like if they are investing a 2 million dirham, they will give you a golden visa for 10 years as well. So before that visa was only for the celebrities and the politicians, and they can get it. Then they decided for 20 million dirham. Now it's on 2 million dirham. Like they can
Yeah.
come and get a visa for 10 years. It's called a golden visa. They can call their parents, maid, driver, and everyone as well. Okay, now let's talk about like here from the developer, we get a commission like 4% to 5% or something like that, because we are not getting any commission from our client. So developer will pay us. So how's
It's the
the
same.
agent?
It's the
Same,
same.
the
The
developer.
developers pay the commission for a new development. And generally, and the commission can be anywhere. It could be 4%, but it's generally going to be like 5 to 7%.
Okay.
So it's good. And then the other is when somebody's reselling, generally the seller also pays the commission for the buyer. Now we do need an agreement with the buyer to work, that's saying that they're working with us for whatever amount of time, so it's like an agreement to work exclusively with us, because there's now a new thing where without that we can't actually work with the buyer, but we need an agreement, and then the commission is paid by either the seller or the developer.
Yeah. Okay. Here normally in the secondary market that I really do, because I normally do the off plan, because I know there is a not too much headache. So we take the client to the developer office and they choose it. If developer they said no, then we move to the other developer. So in secondary, yeah, I do it for my selective clients, but I only say, right, if I getting an exclusivity on this apartment or this villa, I will do it. Otherwise, I don't want to do it. So I know a lot of people like they give the same property to many agents, and we are working hard on the social media and everywhere. And at the end, we know, oh, it's sold out. So yeah, that's a good initiative from the, I think, all your department as well here in Dubai as well. Like you get the exclusivity as well.
Yeah.
Okay, now the last thing I think, what you suggest a new investor invest in under construction project, or he buy a ready project.
I'll say it depends. It depends on what they want. If they want to be able to use the property right away, And also it depends on their span, right? So if they need something to use right away, then obviously an existing property. It could be that they buy that for 2, 3 years and get into buying a new development. Because here, the new development, you only have to pay, let's say, up to 40% of the purchase price with before the place is ready and delivered to you. At the time of
Okay.
delivery is when you pay the rest 60. So it is possible, depending on who you are, to get something now for a couple of years while something is being developed, and then later either rent or sell what you have purchased, and by the time the new development that you really want is ready, because you don't have to pay the full 100% of the purchase price
Okay.
upfront.
Okay. Here are same as well. Like some developer are charging like 10% or 20% as a down payment, and then they are paying like 1, 2, 3% quarterly and 50% in
Yeah,
3 years, and on the time of handover they are paying
the
remaining
rest.
amount.
Right.
So
So here it's like that, the deposit, then it's generally like milestones, like whether it's groundbreaking or some other milestone that the developer has defined. That's when you're paying the whatever they've told you, and you find that out, when you're looking at the property as well as when you sign the contract, so you know exactly when you have to pay what. So it's never a surprise, but you don't pay the full 100% until you close. And that generally it ends up being about 40% before you have to, and then at closing it's the rest 60%.
okay, okay. One other thing as well, like here, even the overseas people living outside the Dubai, and he can apply for the mortgage on the first property as well. You're not gonna get it like 80% or more. It's only I think
Yeah.
less than 60%, 40% you have to pay the down payment. So
Yep.
the person not living in Miami, can he like apply for the mortgage as well?
Yes, yes. We have mortgage programs that are like that. Generally, it's 25% down, and then you can mortgage the rest. And then, like you said, the interest rate will be generally a little bit higher than what would be the traditional interest rate for someone who is a local resident or like a U.S. citizen or something like that. But it's absolutely possible. And there are a lot of
Okay.
private lenders. It's also a competitive space, so it's not like you only have one choice. You can go and talk to a couple people, get the best rate, and depends, again, when you're buying and what's going on. But we have that here as well.
Okay. So what the last message you want to give my GCC people and people
Well, so I
from
will
Dubai?
I will say, I mean, there's something happening, like there's a Miami Congress which is being hosted by the Miami Realtors Association in November 3rd to the 5th in Miami, and a lot of people from, like international realtors, etc., as well as local realtors who will be there. So if you can come there. Otherwise, you and I should work to create, like, for your clients who are interested, let's plan a trip. Let's go see some places, and then they and you can share the feedback directly back, because you will have seen, visited the sales gallery. We can also see some existing places, and you'll really understand the landscape here and all the options that are available. So I invite you to come to Miami.
Good, I will. Okay, what we do, I think in the next vlog, we will discuss like couple of new projects that are going to start in Miami, so my client can understand as well. Then I will bring some good project from Dubai as well. People can understand, okay, what type of properties we are
Exactly.
selling to them.
Yeah, I
So
want to
we
come
will
visit
see.
you.
Yeah, obviously, definitely, you have to.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, our numbers are on the screen. If you need property in Dubai, here I am, and if you need in Miami, Aisha is there, will help you.
Thank you so much. This was great, Ahmed. Yeah, and let's keep doing it. And next time, like you said, we can just pick one project each, talk about
Yeah,
that, and we'll keep
yeah, we
doing
will.
this over and over so that people can get a sense of what's
Yeah.
possible.
I think what we will do, we will discuss about the map of Miami and map of Dubai. So where we can compare the different areas, like how from where Dubai start and where you can invest, and same thing you can do from the
Perfect.
Miami. This is the good, so people can understand more. All right,
Perfect.
thank you very much for your time, Isha.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I'll see you
Thank you.
later.
See you.
Okay. Bye.